Hey everybody, my name is Eli, and today we're going to be installing some seat warmers in my 2008 Ford Escape. This is a very easy project that is going to be an awesome improvement to this car.
Here's the kit that I bought. You can see these are the mats that'll actually do the heating for those. Here's the switches that you'll actually have. I'll put these on the dash. And then I have a couple wiring harnesses, but it's all plug in, so it should be fairly easy. On the back here, there's a very basic wiring diagram showing exactly how it's all supposed to go together. Some general instructions, but it should be fairly simple. Basically, the only thing having to tie into is a 12-volt source based off of when the accessory is on. I was just in there when I changed the radio, upgraded the radio. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it right here. And in that, it's going to be very simple going off that same wiring, so should not be any issues. These just have a sticky pad right here that this peels off, and that'll stick to the seat. One of the things that this mentions is taking the whole fabric off of the seats and putting it under the fabrics. I have decided, because I'm not going to pull off the whole fabric, I'm going to put those directly on the seats, and then I have some new seat covers that I'll be putting over. These are the seat covers I got. I bought these ones from Walmart, but they have ones just like it on Amazon. I bought these breathable ones just because they think that'll help with the heat transfer, letting the heat come up a little bit easier. Putting these directly on the seats and then putting seat covers over it.
Let's talk real quick about the tools that you will need. First thing you'll need is a multimeter, electrical pliers, trim tools, a 7mm screwdriver, and a 7mm bit on a drill, a flathead screwdriver, and finally a good light. Here's my plan of attack for this project. So first thing I'm going to do is pull this all out. This right here is where those buttons are going to go, here and right here. This fuse panel, or this fuse box over here on the passenger side, that's where I'm going to wire it up. But my plan is to pull this, get the wiring all set up, and then after I test the wiring, make sure all that is good, then I'll go ahead and actually run the wires back here, get the pads set onto the seats, and then be good to go. In order to pull this, like I said, it's going to be the exact same stuff as what you saw when I upgraded the radio to this. All right, moving the shifter back here, starting pulling this, a few bolts just to pull this all stuff back, and then we'll be good to go, have lots of room back there. See all the wires. First thing is pulling this off. There we go. There we go. This is free now. Now there's these two here, and then two up top, and that'll be it. 7mm. Those two, and then these two up here. So I was just looking at which fuse I want to use. I kind of went through these ones here to look which ones are the spares. And I've been testing with this multimeter to see, okay, when I turn the key, which ones get 12 volts when the key's on and have 0 volts when the key is off. So this number 30 right here, which matches up right this spot here. I just tested that one, and that's the one that we're going to be using. So let me show you how this test works. So first off, plug the positive terminal into the
top portion of that fuse. That should stay there. The negative needs to be grounded. And let's see, you can see the 0 volts there. And as soon as I turn the key to the on position, there we have our 11 volts. And when I turn the key off, back down to 0. So yep, that's the fuse we're gonna use. And just a little fuse jumper like this. One quick note about this fuse jumper. So I'm actually gonna go with a 20 amp fuse on top and then the 10 on bottom. This 20 amp fuse, so each of the seats calls for a 10 amp fuse. This 20 amp fuse will make sure that as a set, they're not exceeding that. Okay, so I have this just temporary hooked up right now. And I'll put this on the high setting. Let's see what happens. Turn the key on. There we go. I got my little LED indicator. I just got them on my legs just to see. All right, and I'm already feeling some warmth. That's great to know. Start up the car. Oh yeah, these are gonna be nice. Yeah, so as far as this whole setup here, I mean, the only really thing I need is this access to this, so I can put the buttons right here and here. But besides that, you know, maybe I'll keep this off just so I have access to wiring if I need to get back there and make it a little bit easier. But besides that, these, I'll run the wiring down underneath and then under the center console, back right up to where this is at. And I think that'll be it. I just popped this out from in here. It just had these tabs. What I'm gonna do is drill holes on these two sides, and that's where those buttons are gonna go. Okay, so a little bit of a change of a plan because this, I put this in here, but it just a little bit too big. So this actually needs to be cut down as well to get the buttons to fit in there. So that'll be my plan, to get this so at least it stays in there. There we go. I got this set up in there. I had to just file down the inside of this case here a little bit, and these buttons were able to slide in there. They're in there nice and tight, so I don't feel like they're any concerns about that. Have these in there now like that. Now this will just pop into place here. Cool. I have my buttons in here, and those wires will run back. This is where I have my fuse box. That red wire there is where I'm going to connect it. Next, I need to just figure out where these are going to rest. I think it's going to be underneath this panel here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually attach these to the seats, so I have where these wires are going to end, and that will really dictate where this relay is at, because these are the ones, these shorter ones are the ones for the actual seats. So this, I'm sure, is going to have to sit, you know, underneath this panel back in here. These just have this sticky tape here. Pull that off. Put one there. This one right here. And I pushed this wire back through there. I'm going to try and stick this as far back as I can. And just up like so. There's the back one. I'm going to do the same with the seat cushion one. There we go, have that on. Tried pushing those wires back as far as possible, because over here, this is where those wires come in, and I'm gonna have to wrap these underneath the seat like so, and then underneath into the panel. Now, one thing to take into consideration is that these seats are going to be moving all the way forward and back. So I need to connect those under here in a spot that allows them still to move forward and back. Let's go ahead and take this off here. Got my seat cover on, and I have the wires coming out. I put the relay, put all of that underneath, tucked it up. So now the only two wires I have coming out are this pair, which will be the ground and the power. And then this connection here is for what's going to go from here up to the actual button. So the other cable that they gave me is just an extension. So I'll go from here, plug that into there, and then tuck it in and around back up to where that button is actually at there. So there'll just be a little bit of wire running from underneath the seat, just crossover right there. I'll have to test it out, make sure I can still move the seat forward and back. But yeah, should tie up pretty nicely and have all the wires pretty much hidden underneath that panel. All right, well, real quick, I just want to show the final wiring. Now this is all put back together, so you can see all these wires here just run underneath there. But this allows the seat plenty of room to slide back and slide forward. No issues. So this side, I got pretty much the same thing going. I have my seat on. I have the wires just coming out of there. What I'm gonna do now is take my extension from the button. I'll plug the button in and run that back down around. And this, I unbolted these. Now this has a little bit of play in it, so I can just slide the wires under here. The only difference is this side has it's a power seat. It doesn't quite have the same connection over, but I don't think I'll have to struggle that much to get the wires fed through there and run back up around. I'll bring both grounds out here together, and like I said, put them on a common ground. And then the power on this, I'll just run back behind and over to that same fuse. Now I have my wires all running up. I have these all plugged in. These wires, I just need to slide them underneath here and back around. I have both of my grounds out here, so I will put those together and ground them. And then I have both of my hot leads coming over here, and I'll just connect them to that fuse, tuck away all the wires, and this project will be done. Now I have it all wired up. I have these 3 screws to put back. One thing I'd highly recommend is just to cycle the seat all the way forward, up and down, and just make sure that none of your wires are going to be caught. Mine I have coming through right over there, but there's plenty of slack, so they're not moving around. And yeah, now I just gotta put these screws, put the radio back together, and try it out. Here is the test before everything's completely back together. Let me put that on all the way, both of them on high, keys off. Power. Here I have the 2 power cords, and this coming off the fuse. So just one of these right here. I'll crimp those together in there. There we go. Now I can crimp this nice and tight. Now plug this back in. Now let's do our test. Okay, now the real test. Hey, there we go.
Both lights are on. That's a good sign. That is a good sign. And I already feel them heating up. Super. All right, so some time has gone by. I've been using these for about a week now, and they are awesome. So most mornings I'll turn them on high when I first get in the car, and then after about 2 minutes, the seats are really warm. So I'll actually put it on the low setting, and you know, it's great just at that. This morning it was 16 degrees outside, and these seats just made the ride super easy. So hopefully you found this video useful and you can install these in your own vehicle. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.